Functions. Inverse functions. A mapping is the matching of the elements of one set to the elements of another set by means of a rule. A function is a one-to-one or a many-to-one mapping. We use these notations for a function. F of x is equal to, or f is such that x is mapped onto. The domain of a function is the set of x values for which the function is defined. The range of a function is the set of y values for which the function is defined. The inverse of a function is a function that reverses the mapping of the original function. We use these notations for an inverse function. F inverse of x is equal to, or f inverse is such that x is mapped onto. The inverse function of a function exists if and only if the original function is a one-to-one mapping. Composite functions. A composite function is a function that is a combination of two or more functions. We use these notations for a composite function. If h of x is a composite function of g and f, then h of x is equal to g of f of x or g of f. G of f of x is not equal to f of g of x. So, the combination of functions is not commutative. 2016. Given that f of x is equal to 5x plus 4 divided by 5 and g of x is equal to x minus 1, find f inverse of x, f inverse of negative 2, f of g of x in its simplest form. So we'll start. F of x is equal to 5x plus 4 divided by 5. Where there's f inverse of x, replace a y. So we'll say y is equal to 5x plus 4 divided by 5. Make x the subject of the formula. So from there, we'll cross multiply. 5x plus 4 will be equal to 5y. We'll transpose the 4. Our 5x will be equal to 5y minus 4. To find the value of x, we'll divide both sides by 5. Our x is equal to 5y minus 4 divided by 5. Now, our answer will be, therefore, where there's x, replace f inverse of x. Where there's y, replace an x. Therefore, f inverse of x is equal to 5x minus 4 divided by 5. F inverse of x is equal to 5x minus 4 divided by 5. F inverse of negative 2 is equal to, where there's x, replace a negative 2. Expand 5 times negative 2 will give you a negative 10. Negative 10 minus 4 is the same as negative 14. So our answer, f inverse of negative 2 is equal to negative 14 over 5. F of x is equal to 5x plus 4 divided by 5. F of g of x is equal to, where there's that x, replace g of x. So where there's this x, we'll replace x minus 1 and then expand. 5 times x will give us 5x. 5 times negative 1 will give us a negative 5. Negative 5 plus 4 is the same as a negative 1. Therefore, f of g of x is equal to 5x minus 1 divided by 5. 2017. The functions f and g are defined by f of x is equal to 2x plus 1 and g of x is equal to 5x minus 1. Find g inverse of x, f of g of x, f of g of negative 3. So, where there's g inverse, we are going to replace a y. Make x the subject of the formula. To find the value of x, we are going to divide both sides by 5. Our x will be equal to y plus 1 over 5. Where there's x, replace g inverse of x. Where there's that y, replace an x. Therefore, our g inverse of x will be equal to x plus 1 divided by 5. F of x is equal to 2x plus 1. F of g of x, where there's that x, replace g of x. Our g of x is 5x minus 1. So expand. 2 times x will give you 10x. 2 times 5x will give you 10x. 2 times negative 1 will give you a negative 2. Simplify. Negative 2 plus 1 is the same as negative 1. Therefore, f of g of x is equal to 10x minus 1. F of g of negative 3. If f of g of x is 10x minus 1, f of g of negative 3 will be equal to, where there's that x, replace a negative 3. Replace that negative 3. Multiply 10 times negative 3, you get a negative 30. Negative 30 minus 1 is equal to negative 31. 2018. Given that f of x is equal to 2x minus 5 and g of x is equal to x plus 3, find f inverse of x, f inverse of negative 10, g of f of 3. So we'll start where you're supposed to put f inverse of x, replace a y. Y is equal to 2x minus 5. Make x the subject of the formula. To find the value of x, divide both sides by 2. Your x will be equal to y plus 5 divided by 2. Your f inverse of x will be replaced where there's that x, and then where there's that y, replace x. Therefore, our f inverse of x will be equal to x plus 5 divided by 2. F inverse of x is equal to x plus 5 divided by 2. Our f inverse of 10 will be equal to, where there's that x, replace the negative 10. Negative 10 plus 5 is the same as negative 5. Therefore, f inverse of negative 10 is equal to negative 5 divided by 2. G of x is equal to x plus 3. G of f of x is equal to, where there's the x, replace f of x. Where there's that x, replace f of x. Our f of x is 2x minus 5. So we are going to simplify negative 5 plus 3, which will give us a negative 2. Therefore, g of f of x is equal to 2x minus 2. F of g of 3, that's what they want us to find, means that where there's that x, replace a 3. 2 times 3 will give us 6. 6 minus 2 is equal to 4. So g of f of 3 is equal to 4. 2019. The functions f and g are defined by f of x is equal to 2x minus 3 and g of x is equal to 3x. Find f inverse of x, g of f of x, g of f of 2. So where there's the f inverse of x, we'll put a y. Our y will be equal to 2x minus 3. Make x the subject of the formula. To find the value of x, we have to divide both sides by 2. Our x is equal to y plus 3 divided by 2. Where there's x, replace f inverse of x. Where there's that y, replace x. Therefore, our f inverse of x is equal to x plus 3 divided by 2. G of f of x. If f of x is equal to 3x, where there's that x, substitute or replace f of x. So where there's that x, we'll replace 2x minus 3, expand. 3 times 2x will give you 6x. 3 times negative 3 will give you a negative 9. G of f of x is equal to 6x minus 9. Find g of f of 2. Find g of f of 2. So where there's that x, replace a 2 because we are looking for g of f of 2. 6 times 2 will give us a 12. 12 minus 9 will give us a 3. As simple as that.